All right, here we are again, episode number 3, coming into us where?
We are in Elevate Studios. So the building shares, the building houses ATR, which is my gym, and then Elevate Studios here next door, owned by Steve Sears. The dude's awesome. It's a space for rent, you know what I mean? So an event space. They rent it out by the hour. So
Yeah,
we're here hanging out in the heart of Cheyenne.
that's right. And we are on another episode of Beards, Bourbon, and Bullshit. Today's whiskey is another Fuck Cancer by Pine Bluffs Distilling. And this one is straight bourbon whiskey instead of the straight rye.
I'm not a whiskey guy, Colton.
Well,
We're going to be a whiskey guy today, huh?
you're gonna be one today, brother. And it's nice and warm from my car. So
Lovely.
And this is Travis Bogard.
Yeah, maybe introductions, huh?
Yeah, a little bit late on that there deal, but
Yeah, my name is Travis Bogard. I'm the owner, head coach here at Above the Rest Trading Systems. It's a powerlifting gym, barbell club, strongman. We do almost exclusively strongman anymore. We only have a couple of powerlifters left, but yeah, that's me coaching full time now.
yeah. How are you liking it?
Dude, it's a blast. It's a blast. We did a lot of new stuff this year. We've done some upgrades to the service, brought on some guys that are really strong, spooky strong, and they're winning.
Really?
Our guys are winning.
I've been seeing that Gabe on
So
Instagram.
you got Gabe Deal. He's a doctor of chiropractic. He just opened a practice here in town, Cowboy Spine.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a local chiropractor with a 766-pound deadlift.
That's badass.
He just set a national record on Saturday and won the Olympic City Pro-Am down in Colorado Springs. So he beat a pro and at least 4 or 5 guys that are right up there in order to take the podium and earn his pro card.
Hell yeah.
So we've got a local boy with a pro
That's
card.
awesome.
Yeah, and then I coach a guy down in the Springs, Frank Boniello, and Frank just won World's Strongest Firefighter at the Arnold.
Really?
Which was super exciting. Yeah, so that was both guys are 105 kilos, so 231 pounders, and yeah, just spooky strong.
Badass people all over.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean those are just 2 of the guys. I mean, we got more guys competing this weekend. There's a grip contest here in house.
Mm-hmm.
Colton is running point on that,
Yep.
and then a week later we're doing Colt Breakers, which is a novice only show right here in Cheyenne that we run every year as an opportunity for people that are new to the sport or new to strength sports in general to kind of get access to it.
It's a really good opportunity too.
Yeah, I mean, if I might toot my own horn, we do a good job. I mean, we've run it now since 21? I think 2021. This is 2025, so
I
it'll
think
be our
you're right,
fourth
yeah.
one, 4th or 5th one, and
Yep.
we've sold out all but 1 year. And the way it works is, I mean, if you're a novice, in order to be classified as a novice in our sport, you can't have competed already before
Mm-hmm.
in a higher level show, and you can't have already won a novice class show.
I got
So
you.
the burden is pretty low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that said, Gabe Deal, the guy that just won the Pro-Am, he's won Colt Breakers. Portia Birdsley, who's chasing professional
Another
status.
badass,
Yeah,
yes.
very strong. She won Colt Breakers. So we've seen a lot of local athletes win that novice show and go on to bigger and better things, bigger pro-level stuff.
Hell yeah.
She just got back from the Arnold, and I think she took 5th.
I remember seeing all that on Instagram as well.
Yeah, she did. She did exceptionally well. So yeah, it's kind of it's a starting point for a lot of really good athletes.
Yes. Yeah, here.
Sip this.
Cheers it up, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for having me on this.
Thanks for coming. This is barrel proof, by the way.
So
there is this is 60%.
Oh, I got you. So it's a higher proof.
Yeah, it's 100% straight out the barrel. They did not cut it with any water whatsoever.
Got it. Got it. A little extra oomph.
So she's sitting about 120 proof, 125, somewhere right in there.
This is 60.33.
Right.
Never chill filtered, always sweet mashed.
That's right.
See, I'm not a bourbon guy. I don't know what any of that means.
Is it horrible?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't have a palate for this. I drink tequila myself. I'm a tequila guy, and so when it comes to tequila, I feel like I can kind of parse out different drinks. You know what I mean? But when it comes to bourbon, it all tastes like whiskey to me. You know,
Right.
But I mean, like that said, you know, you respect that palate. You know, you guys that are whiskey guys, like I know Chad knows his stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's something to this, but yeah,
And the reason for the fuck cancer bottle was his wife, as everybody else knows from the podcast, was recently diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep. And everything's going good though. I do believe Monday they will find out if she is 100% cancer free after the operation.
Oh, very cool.
So all good things are hoping to come.
Yeah. No, that's great news. Yeah, it sounds like they're getting pretty good at fighting that.
They are.
It sounds like they're getting good at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's good stuff.
And I actually just told them on the last episode that you were over in Utah competing.
Yeah, that was a week ago Saturday. They did my folks just retired in Utah. And so Strongman is currently growing in Utah. It's doing very well out there. This was a United States Strongman show. There are a couple of different institutions that Strongman contests can happen through. This was a United States Strongman show out in American Fork at a gym called Valhalla Strength.
Okay.
The show was Ragnarok 2025. And I entered in the super heavyweight class, and I ended up winning. I took first. The way Strongman works is most contests are going to have 5 events. Especially at that local level. And so the way that it works is the number of athletes in a division give us the number of points that are up for grabs in any particular event. So you got 10 athletes in a division. That means that by winning that event, you can get 10 points, and then each event gets its own points, and whoever has the most at the end wins.
Right.
So I took second in 4 events and took first in the 5th. And that ended up
very
me
good.
Plenty of points.
Hell yeah.
To win the show. Yeah. Yeah, it can be tough when one guy beats you every time, but it was a different guy winning each side. So I ended up taking second across the board was enough to come away with the most points and win the contest.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was well put together. They did they opened the show for us with a truck pull. So they had a big water tanker out there.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of cool. They actually filled it with more water from division to division. So by the time the super heavyweights went, I think it was a full truck.
Really?
Yeah, it was a heavy thing. And then next event was a Viking press, which is basically a lever. It's a lever on a fulcrum. So you press the lever side with the fulcrum on the other. And because it's a lever, no matter how you train for it, it's going to be different when you show up.
Yep.
They had this massive handle and a super whippy bar that they used, and it ended up making for kind of a nice feel. So
gotcha.
I was preparing for maybe getting 1, 2, maybe 3 reps, and I think I took second with 17.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to do
and what was the weight?
It's hard to say. I mean, they put 300 pounds on the bar.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's a fulcrum.
Well, that's true.
And then you have a really big handle. And so it's just tough to say what the actual weight in hand was. But I mean, if I got 17, I got to assume it was probably actually closer to like 200-ish pounds than the 300 pounds that they posted.
Well, maybe you're just that strong.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I'm not that exceptional. I'm not like these other guys. But yeah, then they did a sandbag toss, and that was a lot of fun. Fumbled that one a little bit, but they did a max deadlift. I pulled 685.
Nice.
Deadlifted 685. It was wagon wheels on a power bar.
Oh, okay.
So the barbell sits 13 inches off the ground, and it's very stiff.
Yeah, power bars, they don't give it all.
Yeah, so there's when you use a bar that has a little bit more tensile laxity, I guess, for I don't know what the technical term for it is, outside of whip,
Yeah.
is what we call it in the sport. We call it whip. But if you have a sport with a lot of that laxity, then as you pull, right, you end up with a nice bit of bend in the bar.
Correct.
Before the plates start to break off. So it's almost it gives you a little bit of cushion in the feel of it.
You get a little head start, kind of.
Yeah, but like just the feel of it in and of itself, instead of pulling and all of a sudden just hitting this super heavy thing. It kind of almost eases you into the effort, you know, which can be nice. But yeah, power bar has none of that tensile flexibility. It's a very stiff metal. And so when you go to pull on that, it's all of the weight right away. And it adds a little bit of an extra challenge. So, but I mean, that said, it was from 13 inches up. A conventional deadlift, the bar is usually about 9 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
And so that helps there. But I was chasing 700, but the lat, I kind of tweaked my lat on the second pull. And so I just matched. I matched the guy that was going for second.
Oh.
Honestly, I wasn't going to deadlift my third attempt, but when he hit it, I went ahead and went up and hit it with him just to tie. And then the guy that won ended up getting 715, 720, something. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I wasn't going to be able to ride that wave anyway.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I could have, but it would have hurt.
Yeah.
It would have hurt real bad.
So on the previous episodes, me and Dominic have kind of thrown supplements around or steroids, you know, and and I actually have a guy that I know locally here that used to be very high on, like he did a lot of steroids. And he's coming on next week. Actually, I got him to do a podcast with me.
Is it a teaser, or do I get to know?
It's a teaser. I can't tell you right now.
No, that's all right.
Maybe after. You know. But he was injecting himself in the top of his leg, and he hit his femoral and shot her straight to the heart.
Oops.
Yep.
He walked away from it, huh?
He had a heart attack from it, and but he's alive and still working out today.
They call it a hot shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's dicey. It's dicey. A lot of those things. The reason that they'll inject those things is because taking any of the forms orally,
correct,
pushes that compound through your body's filtration systems.
Yes.
And it can totally wreak havoc. And it's rough on the kidneys. And so there are some compounds that guys will take orally anyway.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's why guys are injecting them, is because they want to bypass the kidneys and not put the kidneys through kidneys or liver. Is it liver or kidneys?
I think it'd be liver.
Maybe it's liver.
Maybe both.
I get them confused. I'm not the guy. It goes through your stuff.
Yes.
So they're trying to bypass those filtration systems within the body to avoid, messing them up in any material way. And so they'll inject. But I mean, there's just a lot of risks that come with injections in general.
Correct.
That's why they teach medical assistants and nurses and things. I mean, they have to go to school to learn that stuff.
Yeah.
Those professionals really know what they're doing when they're doing that stuff, and it's not, they make it look simple.
For sure, yeah.
They are preventing a lot of problems by being good at what they do.
Yes.
And yeah, you get a lot of guys that are amateurs or DIY home guys, and you end up with problems. And it's kind of a problem because it is so taboo. They don't really have a lot of opportunity to go ask how to do it right, you know, and I think that's a problem too. But
well, I recently just got on TRT.
Yeah, I did the same.
And I went to a company down in Boulder, and they showed me how to do it right then and there. Like I inject myself. You do
intravenous?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do actually. I do it into the fat. I do subcutaneous.
Okay.
Injections. So the difference ends up being it's a lot more like insulin. I use a very small needle.
Okay.
I actually do it every other day.
Oh, okay.
And the needle itself it's the tiniest thing you've ever
seen.
I was really shocked because you hear I've grown up in this.
Right.
And so I've never messed with the steroids myself.
Correct.
But you hear about it and you hear about stories like that. And so you assume it's going to be this really invasive, intense process.
Yeah.
And it just plumb wasn't. I mean, it was cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I'm not using insurance. We're paying cash, and it's very manageable. Yeah. I go through Highland Primary Care. It's Megan Bade over there.
Oh, okay.
She's a nurse practitioner. She's very competent. She was super helpful. So she's the one helping me do it. But yeah, I use an insulin needle every other day, and we go subcutaneous. And it reduces the risk, makes it a lot easier. That said, I'm only on 100 milligrams a week.
100 milligrams.
Yeah, 100 milligrams a
What
week.
is that in milliliters?
I don't
I
know.
only ask because like
It's how the bottles work. It's like one bottle is like 100 mil. I'd have to get the thing out. There's like 100 milliliters, or something like that. You do the math. It ends up being 15 units every other day.
Yeah,
In those, it's in the tiniest needle you've ever seen. It's that much stuff. It's absolutely. I found it remarkable how small the quantities really were.
Yep.
To get what I was doing.
No, let me ask.
And I'm sure there's guys that have been doing it a long time. They're like, this clown. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was an eye-opening experience.
So
for the first time.
Me and Dominic have talked about TRT a lot, and he's not doing it.
Okay.
And so he has a lot of questions for me on how it's helped my mood. And
oh, sure.
What have you noticed since you've been on it?
So for me, it was subtle.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot. I mean, it's one of those things you hear about it and you expect it to be very dramatic. And I haven't tested my levels after getting on it yet.
Okay.
So I'm still relatively new. So we don't actually know how high my test levels got. When I tested, they were 284.
Oh, mine was higher than yours.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Mine was 284. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, there's things you can do.
Correct.
I had this conversation with a client the other day because he's kind of nervous. He's nervous about the concept of it. He's 52.
Okay, yeah.
So he's gone a long life without this stuff.
Correct, yeah.
And there's a stigma to it, especially with steroids being what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a stigma to the testosterone stuff, and it's tough. So talking to him, it was one of those things. It's like, dude, yeah, you got to get them checked.
Yep.
Get your test levels checked, regardless of whether you're open to the TRT or not. Go get it checked.
Yes.
Again, Highland Primary Care, you can pay cash.
Yeah, and don't go to your primary care doctor to have your test.
You can get them tested there, but you got to be very cautious when you listen when the results are interpreted.
Correct. They don't really know what they're looking for. Like a
hormonal
doctor does.
It's everybody. I mean, it's like anything. You know, you go to an accountant. There's such a thing as a good accountant. There's such a thing as a bad accountant, and there's such a thing as a good accountant that just hasn't seen everything in the accounting world.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but the problem ends up being that the acceptable range, according to the powers that be, is vast. It's a very, very large range. And the way that it was explained to me, and I don't know for sure, I haven't looked into it any further than talking to people, but the way that it was explained to me is that the range is supposed to be reflective of men.
Yeah.
And so it's not reflective of men between the ages of 18 and 21.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not reflective of men between the ages of 55 and 65. It's reflective of men. And so, like, at the time when the results came back for me, the acceptable range was like 280 to 900, which is just it's insanely massive.
It's massive.
And so that is a problem because it ends up being I'm in my early 30s, and so being in my early 30s and being compared to a person in his 60s when it comes to testosterone levels seems to me to be unreasonable.
Correct.
And so there's that. And then the other problem that you'll run into is that certain practitioners will find the minimums to be acceptable.
Yes.
And while from a health perspective, I don't know, maybe, I'm very much in the camp of if it can go higher, why not go higher?
Right.
Like I mean, it's once you get outside of that upper range,
right,
this is where you can start to see some negative side effects. And these are usually the negative side effects that you hear about.
Correct.
But you're talking levels in the 1100 plus range.
Yep. I
think for extended periods of time. I mean, there's whatever. There's significant blasts and that sort of thing. But it's just tough because if you work with somebody who, as a professional, just wants to see their clients inside that minimum range so that they can check the box, you're going to walk away frustrated.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can find, I mean, there are practitioners out there, general practitioners even, I mean, that will listen to you. And mostly, I think the most competent ones are hoping to hear for a material, like perspective change. Like you actually feel better.
I do.
And that's whatever level it takes to get you to that level is the level that they're going to consider ideal.
got
And
you.
I think it's probably going to be closer to that 900
Oh,
than it
for
ever
sure.
will be
Yeah.
in the middle of the range. So, I mean, that said, we had a guy here at the gym once, and he got put on TRT. He was in his late 40s, early 50s, and the initial dose, he responded so well. He got up to like 1250, 1300.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, "Oh, I feel good, but don't nobody need to feel this good."
Right, right.
He actually went in and asked the doctor to pull him back. So
Oh, okay.
asked him to get the dosages adjusted. But yeah, I mean, it's a significant thing. I mean, my dad went on it years ago, and he's been doing the every other day shot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it's like anything. The more that you can
sure.
smooth that out, the more obnoxious it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
but the better the result's going to be because of side effects and all that stuff. So he started on the every other day shot years ago, and his seasonal depression has gotten better.
Yep.
His energy levels have gotten better. Weight management is easier.
Yep.
And frankly, he's just easier to be around.
Dude, that was like, this is no joke. After I got on it, like a month afterwards, my wife Brittany looked at me and she goes, "You are so much happier as an individual.
Yeah.
Do not ever stop doing this."
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I don't plan on it anytime soon.
No, and I mean, and that's the question I get often too. Is like, is it a for life thing, or is it? I mean, you commit to it.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be for life.
It's a commitment. For
so
sure.
I mean, that brings up the whole, like, there are a lot of things that people can do to bring those test levels up naturally.
There is.
I actually, going back to the client I was talking about, because I told him, go get them tested, go get them checked. And then I told him, I was like, you can either then have the conversation with your practitioner about getting the prescription and getting on some tests, or go see a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Go see a habit coach.
Mm-hmm.
Go see a professional that deals with other aspects of life, and find something that you're comfortable with. I mean, I have a feeling, what's her name? Kirsten here in town. It's, shoot, I might have to look her up. I want to say Phillips, but I don't know if that's right.
Well, Travis is talking about like all the different things you could do. You could also very easily, like I've said before, you can change deodorants, because aluminum and paraben, those two chemicals have a huge impact on.
Well, I tell you, I haven't looked into. I can't speak to that. Kirsten Mills is who I was thinking of. She runs Proactive Nutrition here in town. She's helped a couple of our guys get their weight under control. She's registered. She's smart. She does the thing. She's an athlete. She knows her stuff. So you could go see a person like that and say,
For
hey,
sure.
My test levels are low. What can we do? And let somebody like that help you out. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to come down to it. That said, it's like I said, I'm using my protocol is less invasive than a diabetic needing insulin. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been that big of an adjustment.
Right.
It really hasn't.
So how long have you been on it then?
My third vial's about gone.
Okay.
So what is that? Probably coming up on 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So the levels, for me, the levels should be about adjusted out.
Okay.
To the extent that they are, but I don't know if I need tweaking. I don't know. And I said it's felt subtle.
Yeah. You might need a little tweaking.
I might need a little tweaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is fine. I'm down to go slow. I don't need to go fast.
You could almost say that it's like programming.
Yeah. You you're finding the ideal spot as slowly as you must.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Megan did a really good job. Because honestly, the dosage that I'm receiving, so like in the strongman world, strongman is not a drug tested phenomenon. Nope. It is not drug tested. Performance enhancing drugs are a part of the sport. Whether that makes you happy or not is up to you. It's a part of things.
Yep.
There are plenty of people that compete naturally, but there's a lot of people that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so being a part of this sport, those conversations are just part of my job. And so one of the things that you have to do when you're taking those higher end compounds, those other compounds, a lot of them will metabolize your testosterone. Mm-hmm. A lot of them will reduce your natural output of testosterone. And so for most of those guys, in order to maintain normal function, they have to run a baseline of X amount of tests.
Correct.
In order to stay healthy. In all reality. So But those dosages, you'll hear guys 200 milligrams a week, 400 milligrams a week. So you hear much higher dosages.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear Megan, the nurse practitioner, when Megan said we're going to start at 100, I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. And I'm not going to lie, there's some pushback. I was like, but that sounds super
Yeah.
low. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And she did a good job. She says, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
We'll get there if we need to get there, but there's no rush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been feeling the way you've been feeling for years.
Right.
You can handle another 6 weeks. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I respect that. She was, I respected that. So that's what we're doing. And the next set of blood tests will be as soon as I'm out of vials. So whatever that, probably another 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me switch gears a little bit here, Travis. How long have you, I'm going to just go ahead and say, ran this gym?
We opened January 1st of 2020.
Okay.
We opened the first day of that year.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we opened January 1st, 2020. It was me and 4 business partners. One of those business partners left pretty quick and we brought somebody else on, just basically swapped ownership. So I have 4 silent partners and then myself. Mm-hmm. I'm the only one that makes this a full-time gig. The other silent partners, honestly, were just supportive.
Yeah.
The local guys, Doug Canada is one.
Yep.
David Keatley's another. John Maston is there, and then not so local is Amy Grass. I don't know. She's a chemical engineer. Mm. She does waste management, waste cleanup. She goes when big companies have owies and boo-boos, she goes makes it all better. Yeah. Yeah, her company does that. So she ends up traveling all over the country for what she does. But we met while she was working on a job here in town. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we met while she was working on a job here in town, and she liked what I had going on and wanted to be supportive. And I mean, that's basically what it's been, is those guys jumped in to fund a dream, and here I am doing my best to make it happen. So we've been going ever since, January 1st of 2020. We've had some ups, we've had some downs. I recently hired a business sales and marketing coach.
Oh, okay.
And that has been, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you are a small business owner struggling with sales, hire a coach. Hire a coach. It is one of the most difficult decisions I ever had to make, but I pulled the trigger. And I mean, like, if he ends up watching this, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. The guy's he's not a genius by any means, but sales is a skill. Sales is a process.
Oh, 100%.
It's a series of tasks and systems and fundamentals, and a guy that knows sales can teach sales to a guy that doesn't know sales.
100%.
You think it's supposed to be this build it then they will come phenomenon. If I get good enough, we'll just sell. Yeah. And it's not the case. It's just not. The world is not. It's not made that way. You really do, as a business owner, have to take responsibility for that and get after it. And it took me 4 years of putzing around, trying different things and failing to finally bite the bullet. But
what you're saying is you need more than just word of mouth.
Well, I mean, word of mouth is a strategy, and it really does, especially in a small town like Cheyenne. Yeah, it goes a long way. But look at what we do.
Correct.
So you look at the fitness industry as a whole, and you're looking at everything from like niche hobby strength sports like grip, all the way to new moms that are trying to get their bodies back, to ex-military guys who are using fitness to manage PTSD, and the fitness industry itself is so vast. That us here in our little strongman world, I mean, for us, it's our entire world. Yeah. But it's still a very, very, very small world. And so for us as such a niched sport, to try to make it in a relatively small town, I mean, it's a tall order. Oh yeah. That's a big ask. So, if you're only going to get X number of clients, how do you make a business out of that?
This is true.
You eventually end up either having to charge each client more. I mean, that's just the math of it. Yeah. Which, I mean, we're not cheap. Yeah. We do good work. We're not cheap.
Yeah. Travis used to coach me too a long time ago.
Yeah. Right in the start of it all. So then I mean, we do good work, so we're not necessarily cheap, but at the same time, you have to come back with that much value.
Correct.
If you're going to charge somebody money, you have to provide for that money you're charging. And so with that said, we ended up going online.
Yeah.
Most of what I do now is online. The online coaching, I think, I mean, dude, I think we do it as well as anybody. Between, you know, there's a big divide between providing a good online service and being a good coach. There's a lot of good coaches out there, but not a lot of them know how to provide a good service.
Correct.
And that's where I think we're making a change.
Well, I can honestly tell you, man, whenever I see something pop up on Facebook with somebody wanting recommendations for a new gym to go to, ATR, man, is always in that list, because honestly, you're not going to walk into a gym where you can slam weights around, have chalk flying all over. Like an actual gym is what I would call ATR.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, because I grew up in commercial gyms. The first gym I ever walked into was a Gold's Gym up in Kirkland, Washington, the Totem Lake Gold's Gym, home of Mark Dugdale. Like back then, that's what you had. You had a couple of smaller barbell clubs. Sir? Yeah, sure. You had a couple of smaller barbell clubs and stuff, but back then it's what it was. Now, you know, CrossFit has done its thing.
CrossFit came in big, didn't it?
Yeah, whether you're a fan or not. I mean, it did amazing things for strength sports. And now that it's come and it's become, and we have all of the trickle out, there's a lot of guys that want to do, you know, there's a lot of guys that found a home in small aspects of CrossFit. And so it breathed life into, you know, small places like us. But I tell people all the time, you know, we can't exist if Planet Fitness isn't down the road.
That's true.
There has to be, there's a different, everybody wants something different from their fitness experience.
Correct.
And frankly, I think as long as you're training, as long as you're getting in there and you're getting the work done, more power to you. But there is an archetype of person that wants to be able to drop things, that wants to be able to make noise, that wants to be able to play their music loud. And that's us.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We have the chalk. We have the space. I mean, I tell guys all the time, if you break my stuff, but you were trying to pick it up, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay. So, we encourage cool stuff over, you know, the glam and fab. I mean, but that being said, it's not for everybody. There's lots of guys that really want a clean spot where they can kind of go in and have a peaceful, you know, get a peaceful workout. And more power to them.
Oh, for sure.
That ain't here. That ain't us. We slam things. We drop things, and we hoot and holler.
Hey, man, I've had the mayor called on my house 25 times since I moved into my house from dropping weights in my own garage. So,
yeah, it's funny. We like trying to learn business. You know what I mean? You're a business owner. Any business owner watching this knows you're reading the books, you're watching the podcasts, you're listening to the guys that know stuff, and you're listening to a couple of these guys that are gym, you know, specific, and they're talking about, you know, picking a location and how important it is. And me, I mean, we found a warehouse. We found Steve. He's been a godsend. Absolutely. Steve Sears has been just the best landlord a guy could ever hope for.
He's a really good,
he's salt of the earth. Does anything that he can to help us out. I mean, we got him, and we just went in there and we started doing stuff. We started cranking music. We started throwing stuff, slamming stuff. I mean, you're talking, you know, 300-pound Atlas stones hitting the ground. It's a big bang and a big boom. Other gym owners are talking about, we forgot. We opened a second floor space, and weight bars are dropping and walls are shaking, and we got ran out of this place. It's like, I mean, you really do. You either got to get lucky, or you got to really work hard to find the right spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe the neighborhood, maybe the middle of the neighborhood ain't the spot. I don't know.
Well, you know, I ain't heard no more about it. So.
Yeah. You just got to get the mayor lifting is all.
Well, just get him drinking. That's all you need.
Well.
And he actually happens to be part owner of Pine Bluffs Distilling. So.
Well, there you go.
Yep, exactly. Go. So did you see how many total we have for the Rolling Hills Grip Challenge? How many people entered yet? We're at 15, bro.
That's good.
Which actually is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, for a grip show, that's pretty good.
Well, you think about this. The first one that you helped me put on, we were at 19.
Is that all it was?
Yeah.
Felt like
and it
more than
felt
that.
like there was a shit ton
Yeah,
of
it
people
felt
here.
like more than that. Yeah, it's such a small pocket of the strength world. It
Mhm.
really is. But it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's like anything. You get people that are passionate about something,
Yep.
and it's just wild how deep they'll dig the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And the grip world is no different. I mean, these guys, I underestimated it. I genuinely did. I'm not a grip guy myself. It's not something I got a passion for. But watching these guys go at it, I mean, they've got different. They've got preparatory protocols to get their hands ready to create the friction on the implements.
And then certain kinds of chalk.
Yeah, they use different chalks. They use, which it's all the same compound, but it gets packed different.
Correct.
And then it comes in different packages. And then they got rules around what kind of chalk we can and can't use. And they're looking at the actual surface of the implement in order to ensure that they're approaching it the right way.
Yes.
Some implements you need chalk. Some you don't want chalk. You actually want a little bit of moisture on the hands. And I'll tell you what, as a strongman coach, we deal with all sorts of different implements. A lot of them are homemade. A lot of them are fabricated days before the contest. And so we go in there, we don't necessarily know what we're looking at. And so being able to now, having hung out with you guys, I mean, we were at the Olympic City Pro-Am, it was a strongman court Pro-Am this weekend, and they walked in there with this wheelbarrow. And it was, I mean, the wheelbarrow showed up to the venue about an hour after the contest started.
Shit.
Nobody has seen this thing. Nobody has any idea what it looks like. And so we go in there, and luckily enough, Jeremy Everding, one of the top grip guys in the region, he's there volunteering.
Oh, perfect.
So I go and I start whispering in his ear. I was like, you see that handle? What would you guys do? What do you guys do to get prepped for that? And that's what we had our guy do, and he was one of the three that finished it, wasn't he? Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's the grit. It comes into play. It comes into play, and it really was. It was fascinating. They take it very seriously.
Yes.
A lot of the implements that the grip guys are using, you know, I like to, when I describe the event selection, I like to describe it as answering a question. You know, what question does this event answer? So for strongman, you know, it's who's got the strongest log press. Well, let's max it. You know, who can press this the most times?
Yeah.
So we set the event up to answer the question. The grip world, they want to know, how much can you pinch like this? How much can you grab with that finger?
Yeah.
How much can you do with your whole hand? How can you do is, how much can you twist? How much can you squeeze?
Yeah.
How much can you rotate? And so they got all these different implements that help them answer those questions. And all of those implements, some of them are so difficult to get a hold of that your world records are under 100 pounds.
Yep.
And so I was kind of surprised at first at how careful they were to measure all of the weights and measure all of the implements and all of the handles. I mean, they really, it's one of the most, what do you call it, like self-regulated.
Oh, yeah.
It's
absolutely.
The guys care, and there's so much integrity there that it's so self-regulated. These guys really put a lot of work in to make sure the weights are right and the implements are right and everything. I was shocked. Yeah. Strongman, we have to do a lot of work to make sure that we don't have conflicts of interest and things like that. But in the grip community, it would have been redundant.
Oh, for sure.
It really would have. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what was it? The last one, 2024 Rolling Hills Grip Challenge. Jalen set the world record on the inch pinch block.
Oh, yeah.
That was a world record at 90, what was it, like 96 pounds or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, and for your audience members that ain't got a clue what that is, I mean, it's something that ain't much wider than my phone.
No, and it's turned upside right.
Pinch it like that. They call it a turnkey grip.
Yep.
So you got to grip it like that, and he picked up 100.
I mean, I wasn't too far behind at 89, but
but world records deserve their credit.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
A world record's a world record. That was. I mean, that stuff's tough. That stuff's tough. The only ones I seem to have any kind of advantage on anybody is like the glob tops.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like palming a basketball.
Yep,
with
that's
weight.
That's a good way to describe it. That's exactly what it is.
It's like a weighted basketball palm.
Yeah.
And I got relatively big hands. I tend to do okay at those, but that's it. I mean, I think part of my lack of passion is I wasn't like you guys. I didn't just walk in there good at it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of these guys, especially here in Cheyenne, grew up wrench turning and different blue collar work, and they walk in there and they got strong hands.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, my buddy Steve Kissel that I brought in, that one welder one time, never touched a grip thing in his life.
Yep. Well, I mean, shoot, there's Jesse Lackey. He's he's a fabricator in town. The dude's a freaking artist with metal. But having done it his whole life, I mean, at what, 170, 180 pounds?
Yeah, he ain't very big.
He came in and made me look like a child with the grip stuff. I mean, and that's another cool point I think about the grip stuff is as far as body weights go, it tends to be kind of an equalizer.
It really, like grip work, grip contests, as it may be, is extremely humbling. Yeah. Because, I mean, you look at Sarah Chapello. Yeah. I mean,
best in the world by a mile.
Best in the world. I'm amazed every single time I get to watch her.
Yeah, and she makes it look effortless.
She does. Like she breaks records one right after another and just keeps going up and up and up. Yeah. I don't know, but I can promise you that there will be records broke this year at this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I mean, on a plain Jane hub, man. The other day I bought a brand new hub. I just pulled 75 on a brand new hub. So wow, that's getting up there. And I know a lot of people don't know what that is. It's essentially the top of this glass, and you can crick your thumb around about like that, and then bring these other fingers up, and then it's a one-arm deadlift.
Well, so what it is back in the early days of weightlifting. Yeah, you had York Barbell was one of the original companies making strength equipment. And the 45-pound plates that they were making had this iconic center hub to them. So where you would load the barbell onto a plate, the center hub was kind of larger and wider, and the plate itself was 45 pounds. So it was kind of this manhood test.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Could you pick the plate up? And so that was the old hub lift. So what they ultimately did is they took the size and the dimensions of that
and just
iconic
created it.
Lift and created something that could snap onto weight with a carabiner, and now they got world records in it. So these guys will get a hold of this round piece, the same way you would the center of that plate, and you're picking it up, and that's decided he's got 75 pounds. Like you get 45 pounds, and that's the 315-pound bench of the hub world.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? That means you've done something pretty cool with a hub. So yeah, doing 75 pounds. I mean, that's the 500-pound bench.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
that's I can't bench for shit. You can even ask this guy.
Yeah, well, yeah. That might be a fun conversation at some point too, talking about the uniqueness of your shoulders.
Oh, I don't think we need to go through all that.
Because that was something. That was something.
That Jeremy Everdeen, actually, so you bringing him up, he's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Yeah. I saw him. Yeah, last weekend at that pro.
There's a lot of guys coming. I don't know. I'm hoping you know, because I don't know them.
Well, I mean, it ain't. You don't have to know anybody.
But
you just
sign up, a lot of people.
Yeah, I might. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at the roster. I went through the roster enough to get the T-shirts ordered and everything.
Oh, there you go.
I haven't gone through it to see who's coming. I told you, it's not my jam. The grip stuff's not my jam. I'm just happy to be a part of facilitating it.
Man, my honest to God, like my all-time favorite time was when Ode Haugen gave me knuckles at the Arnold. That was
just one of those iconic moments.
Yeah, that was just like, nope, I'm good here. This is
retire. Yeah. I mean, it's the sports world, this strength sport world. That's one of the coolest things about it. Is it does such a cool job of like the legends in the sport are still here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, shoot, I got to hang out with Chad Coy last weekend. He's one of the best strongmen that's ever done it. He's still one of the best coaches doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're just shooting the shit with the guy. That stuff's wild. I got to volunteer at the Shaw Classic this year. I got to meet the greats: Van Cena, Ed Cohn, Brian Shaw himself, of course. You know what I mean? Like, and then, I mean, shoot, JF Carone, he's called me an idiot 7 or 8 times in my lifetime.
No
now.
shit.
Yeah, I got
That'd be badass.
I mean, you put the wrong weight on the bar. You don't speak English so good, so that's how he tells you did it wrong. you hustle to get it fixed.
Yeah,
And, but yeah, I mean the legends of the sport are still here, and
Absolutely.
they're not that far away. And
No.
I think that's really special.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's very special. Those guys in our sport, particularly, there's such a culture of turning around and giving back the other direction that those guys, those pros, those
Yeah.
really big guys are still doing that at a very humble local level.
Mhm.
I mean, shoot, Van Cena was a judge at Valhalla,
Yeah.
and he's one of the best that's ever done the thing. You
I'll
know,
be
and
damned.
he's still out there with a stopwatch in the cold, watching my dumbass try to pull a truck. You know,
Hey,
it's
it's
a cool thing.
And what's really cool about, like, he brought up cult breakers earlier, is people like me who only was in strongman for a very short time,
Right.
not very much.
Right.
Realized I wasn't worth a shit at it and got out of it, but we can volunteer at things like cult breakers and or make it help run a little bit smoother. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like,
it's and just speaking of the culture, I mean we put together Cult Breakers as a novice only show because we saw how fast the sport was growing in the Rocky Mountain region. And because of how fast it was growing, the athletes in this region were getting good.
Yes.
And so even your local shows were heavier.
Oh yeah.
And heavier and heavier than most of the big shows you see throughout the rest of the country. You know, I mean, so it was one of those, we're asking, it's like, dude, things are getting heavier and heavier.
Yeah, you and me were talking about it when you came up with the idea for cult breakers.
When the concept arose,
Yep,
it was kind of like, well, if we just keep getting heavier, what are the newbies supposed to do? How are we going to keep growing this from the other side? And so we did cult breakers. But I'll tell you what, the coolest thing I found is that no sooner than we publicized the concept, and then, I mean, you know me, there's not a lot of pride here. I mean, we very humbly asked the rest of the region to come help us put it together.
We did, yes.
The region showed up.
They did. And in force, as a matter of fact.
They've showed up every year since. So I get messages just about on a weekly basis asking, do you need help at Cult Breakers? No. I have a freaking army of people now.
Yeah.
But everybody is welcome.
Yeah,
I'll get you a shirt. You show up, and either we'll put you to work or we won't. And what it turns into is this beginner lifter goes out there in front of a crowd of just loving volunteers who are fans of the sport, gets to put their performance on. They're learning from all of these astoundingly fantastic vets of the sport.
And yes, the judges there will coach throughout. Yeah, they help the competitors.
Right. I make a point. I make a point to look for either like iconic lifters in the region or new coaches to come in and be the judges. And they do a great job. And then next thing you know, you're getting, so it's just become so powerful. You know what I mean? But we're going to have a couple pros.
Oh, nice.
At this contest. We're going to have longtime veterans of the sport at this contest. 500-pound deadlifters. You're going to have 300-400-pound pressers. There's really, really strong people coming to this thing. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just that if you're looking for a way to get into fitness and find something that's like self-perpetuating because of the motivational factor, there's nothing like strongman.
No, hold on. You can say fitness, but look at the both of us.
Well, I mean,
we pack on a little extra weight. The both of us do.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a girthy fella, I suppose. I suppose.
So that's one thing that me and Dominic had covered before is, we may not look the fitness type.
Sure.
Because there is a type when it comes to fitness, your bodybuilders, that's what all these younger kids are seeing on Instagram is everybody that's ripped and shredded.
Right.
And but like I was telling Dominic, I was like, man, we're in the 90th percentile of strength in the country, if not higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, I love the conversation. I love the conversation because it's, you gotta look at it reasonably. You really do. And so reasonably are we necessarily the healthiest guys? I mean, they keep doing the big meta-analysis studies, and I don't read the studies. I listen to the guys that read the studies.
Right.
And they keep finding that lighter people are healthier people.
Yeah.
They just find it. If you're carrying less fat, you're more likely going to see better numbers on all of your health metrics. It's just the way it goes. It's correlation. And so there is such a thing as like chasing what we do farther than you could argue is fit and healthy. And I think we have a term, we call it the utility of experience.
Yeah.
How much you get out of what you do. And the Ronnie Coleman is just the classic example, right? It's this guy who, the best of the best of bodybuilding, one of the greatest of all time. And you ask him now, I mean, now he walks around with walkers and he's broken down, he's beaten up, and he's on lots of medications.
That's sad to look at, honestly, because he was a badass.
Ask him if he has any regrets.
I bet he don't.
Well, what he'll tell you is like that one time he front squatted 800 for 2, he thinks he could have gotten it for 3, and it's haunted him ever since. And that's kind of what we're talking about is that utility of experience. You look at, the guys doing stunts for Red Bull and things like that. Yeah. It's like, there's a risk. It's a massive risk. But if they died at 40, they lived great. And
well, I mean, think about it this way, Travis. Look like you've been in the sport for how many years now?
Strongman specifically, I took my first athlete to his first contest back in 2016.
Okay, so training the way that you've been training for this many years, right? I'm just going to go ahead and say just strongman training, period.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you change it from the very beginning to where you're at now?
Would I change what I've done with my life?
Mm-hmm. Like as far as training wise?
I don't think so. Not necessarily. I mean, you got to understand too, there's different personalities. I'm a coach.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm a coach. I ate pizza.
Yeah.
I eat pizza.
Friday night strongman,
I drink tequila. I had tortilla chips and American cheese on my rice today. I'm not out here to do this thing. Now, Gabe, Frank, those guys don't miss a beat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those guys don't miss a beat. They follow their diet. They do what they're told.
Mm-hmm.
They do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They prioritize recovery. Those guys, in general, even as strongman, are very healthy humans.
Mm-hmm.
They're, I mean, especially nowadays. Nowadays, with the prevalence of these higher compounds, there's also been a lot of focus on frequent blood work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Constant measurement. I mean, they're checking their blood sugar levels.
I have to say that's probably went up a lot in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
The blood work.
It's more available.
Correct.
It's more available. Everybody's starting to learn. It's becoming more, the taboo is starting to fade.
Yes.
And so a lot of guys are talking about it now. And you have practitioners. CrossFit was long enough ago.
Yep.
That people that were inspired by those things are now coming up as athletic practitioners. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to find a good doctor of physical therapy these days than it used to be. I mean, and so it's all becoming more available and easier to get a hold of and better information.
Yes.
So that being said, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I've spent years of my life reading and doing,
right.
And I was eating like crap when I was reading, but I was reading because that's what I do.
Yeah.
You know? So these athletes, and I mean, that's the difference between an athlete and a coach.
Correct.
It should be. The athlete is the one who is, spending the extra time to dial in his habits and his processes so that he can be compliant with very burdensome nutrition plans and athletic plans and things like that. I mean, and I'll tell you, these guys that are doing well, they do it better than anybody.
Right.
And that's what they're really good at.
Yeah.
They're good at strongman, but they're really good at being people that live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you ask, would I change anything? Like, no. Would I have changed things and done better? Yeah.
Set the coaching aside.
Yeah.
You as a person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't separate them. I am a coach. I
mean, I know you
identify. It's what I do.
Right.
I'm a coach. And so, like separating it aside, I mean, as far as my health and everything goes, I wouldn't mind weighing less.
Well, I wasn't really talking about that.
Sure.
I was talking about like because let's face it, when we're all talking about strongman stuff or powerlifting, it's all about that number, right?
Sure.
You're always chasing that number.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you could have done or that you think you could have done differently to be higher than what you're at right now?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when I was really committed to the training, and I was doing the diet work, even when it was it was still with this air of experimentation.
Gotcha.
I've run 16-week programs on myself that saw completely wrong results.
Really?
I ran a 16-week powerlifting program that I wrote myself once, and this was years and years and years ago.
How many years ago, Travis?
This was 2015.
So just to give you guys a reference, right?
10 years ago.
Travis has been doing this kind of shit for a long time.
Yeah. So that was 2015. It was a 16-week program I ran myself, and I know, like now looking back, it's like, you idiot! Oh my god, it's just silliness. But what I did come away with is I was in some of the best shape of my life. I've never had like a single-digit body fat percentage by any means, but it was about as low as it's ever been.
Yeah.
I was very fit. I had a lot of capacity. I could train 6-7 days a week and go in. But I'll tell you what, 16 weeks later, I had the same squat, the same bench, the same deadlift. And that was the whole point. So with that being said, I mean, I learned such valuable things in that 16 weeks that I still use today. So like the question, could you have done anything and had better numbers? Like, yeah, I mean, I could have hired a coach back then.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'd hired a coach back then and avoided all of that experimentation, I would probably be stronger now than I was, or I at least would have seen better progress at that time because of the ebbs and flows. And I mean, even now, now I own a business. And the business is the baby. The coaching is what I do. I don't consider myself an athlete anymore. I still compete to stay in touch with my sport, and it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fun.
Yeah.
But I am a coach, and I train. I mean, I think leading up to that Ragnarok show, I probably hit the events in the show twice, maybe 3 times. I was probably training 3-ish days a week for like an hour each session. And a lot of that, I think, is the test.
For sure.
Low test, you go in there and you just
your motivation isn't
you
there.
just don't want to be there. So
100%.
So there's a big part of that. But I mean, the guys that are really successful in my systems right now, they're usually training between 4 and 6 times a week. Okay. And then those sessions are anywhere between 90 minutes to 2.5 hours, depending. It has a lot to do with the phase and training and stuff like that. But they're the athletes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's what they do.
Right.
And I spend 2 to 3 hours a day watching tape, watching video of the athletes and learning and writing and doing those things. So, not to mention I'm a business owner, so trying to sell and doing lots of that work as well. So, your question is a good one. Like, could you have done it better? Like, but I don't think I would have changed a thing.
I got you.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I said last episode was, if you're a man and you're married or you have a girlfriend, right? And I asked this straight to Dominic. I said, could you pull your wife or carry her out of a burning building right now?
Oh, sure.
And he said, yeah, without a doubt, right? And I called everybody out that's watched this video. I said, if you cannot carry your spouse or your significant other out of a burning ass building, you need to get your ass to a gym and start, right? Am I wrong?
I've never heard that metric before. I grew up in Seattle. A lot of my best friends played guitar and painted. and I think that I do think that there should probably be some very baseline standards regarding strength. I mean, just the same way that they find that people are healthier when they weigh less, they also find that people are healthier when they're stronger.
Correct.
And so there is a certain element of that, but I have plenty of clients that just come in 3 or 4 times a week and spend 45 to 60 minutes in here.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to get cut.
Right.
They're in touch with their doctor. They're keeping their blood sugar levels right. They're
Either
keeping
way,
their
they're
hormones
getting their ass to the gym.
Well, and doing what they need to in order to maintain essentially freedom. They're maintaining their own freedom.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, for the fellows out there with the wives that are a little overweight, you know what I mean? It's like that metric might not be fair. Let's face it, bro. There's not going to be
a dude that's 5'9", married to a wife that weighs as much as I am most of the time.
Listen, different strokes for different
Well,
folks. No judgment here. No judgment here. You guys, you love who you want to love. It's, but the point, I mean, to your credit though, it's, so there's a guy out there, he was real big a few years back, Matt Wenning. He was real big a few years back. He's one of the best powerlifters that's ever lived. He's not just a powerlifter. The dude, he trains athletes. He's one of the best strength personalities. He's one of the best guys that's ever done that. Okay. Matt Wenning, Wenning. Go look him up. Yeah. He's a monstrosity. He's out in Ohio. And one of the things that he did was he started working with fire departments, police departments, things of that nature. And his whole pitch was, I'm going to bring down your workers' comp.
Oh.
I'm going to bring down your time off for injury. I'm going to bring all that stuff down because
I like that.
If your firefighters can deadlift 150 pounds, they're going to break their back getting anybody out of a burning building.
Oh, yeah, that's a... Yeah.
But if they can deadlift 500 pounds, then, yeah, poor Gertie that's been struggling with her weight for a few years, she's going to make it out of that building, and they're going to make it out with a safe back.
That's true.
And I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, he promoted those numbers. He talked about those numbers. I don't think anybody ever audited him on it.
Yeah.
But he was successful enough that they invited him into the Army to re-up their PT test. He was a big force behind the ACFT that came through. And so, like to your point, it's true. A stronger person is going to be more capable in emergency situations. And I mean, if we want to take the drama away from the metric, and say, how strong does a person need to be for life?
Oh, yeah,
We have, it was the coolest thing. We got a 63-year-old woman here at the gym. She's been training with us for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Her numbers they're not world-class by any means.
For sure, yeah.
But they're good. And for a 63-year-old woman, they're well above the average.
Yeah. And if it's the same person I'm thinking of, she's even done a few powerlifting meets.
She has. Yeah. So she comes in, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and she's over the moon. She's super excited to tell me about stuff. And what she's telling me about is she went down to Home Depot and loaded the truck with mulch by herself.
Hell yeah.
Drove the truck home, unloaded the mulch, spread it on the yard, and then her and her husband took the dogs up to the mountains.
That's badass.
For a hike all in the same day. And she's just elated.
Yeah.
She's talking about she got friends that can't get off the couch. And she's out living her life. And this is where we say it can very literally bring freedom.
Correct.
It can leave. There's a difference between surviving and thriving.
Yes.
And that difference is capacity.
Yeah.
The capability to do the thing. And strength does that.
Yes.
Ain't no fucking marathon runner out there that's going to, it ain't. Yeah, strength does that. It provides you with that freedom.
It's the same essential thing, though.
And this is what I'm saying. Take the drama off the metric, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's having the capacity to handle the situations in front of you and thrive.
Yeah.
And strength does that.
Yep.
It does. Strength does that. You can't get by without it.
No. So is there anything that you'd like to put out into the YouTube world, Travis, of what you have coming up next besides Colt Breakers? Anything else?
Oh man. Well,
or you don't have to mention the grip thing again, Travis has.
We have the Rolling Hills Grip Challenge. That's the contest. That's this Saturday. The week after, Nutrition Company hosts us every year. They do an awesome job. Chris over there is super supportive. And that's where we host it. So in the parking lot outside the Nutrition Company off of Pershing here in Cheyenne, that's where we do Colt Breakers every year. And we'll do it there every year.
Yeah.
As long as, you know what I mean? Until
it's always a good spot.
Yeah, it's a great spot. We get a lot of good foot traffic. There'll be a couple food trucks. Come grab a hot dog and a coffee. And then the Celtic is this summer. We always do the Celtic Bison as part of the Cheyenne Celtic Festival.
Right,
so
that's right.
June.
Yep.
That's June 7th, I believe. They do Highland Games, the whole Celtic Festival, fun for the whole family. And we'll be at the park this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you won't be down here at the depot?
No, we've done it at the depot. We've done it Friday nights at the depot for the last few years, but this year we're going to go out Logistically, it's easier on a Saturday.
Yeah,
We'll be right by the festival, so we're going to go down this year. We're going to try to do it at the park.
Badass, bro.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's weird running a show on grass.
Well, I mean,
it's weird running a show on grass, but we'll see what happens.
If you need something,
yeah, we'll
reach out.
Yeah, we're going to do all stones.
Ooh,
it's an all stone event.
What?
Yeah.
Eesh.
But outside of that, I mean, it's just, it's what we do. We do, I'm a strength coach.
Yep.
I teach you how to get strong. I teach
Yep.
you how to get explosive, get fast. If you need nutrition work, I can refer you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the online service is the main thing we do. So the service that I provide, the athletes that hire me, they work independently. So it's your own schedule. We do all of our communication online. It works. I mean, we've got a pro. We've got some guys winning some big stuff. So I mean, the system's working. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, the gym's the gym.
The gym's a gym.
Gym's the gym. You want to come lift a rock? We got rocks.
Yeah. One thing I can tell you is that if you are in the Cheyenne area and you are tired of Planet Fitness or any other gym that doesn't allow you to have chalk anywhere,
yeah,
come on down to ATR. Travis is a really good guy. He looks like a schmuck sometimes.
yeah.
But Travis is a really, really good guy.
Yeah, it's like I said,
$10 for a one-day trial or some shit like that?
Yeah. We do a $10 guest pass.
Yeah.
Members get a key. It's 24 hours. Music's first come, first serve. We ain't got neighbors, so blast it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, everybody's got what they do. And I think that the thing that you do and the thing that you can do is the right thing to do.
Correct. Yes.
If you like Zumba, if you like spinning, if you like water, you like that stuff, more power to you. Go do that.
Don't come to ATR if you're expecting a fucking butt pedal bike out there.
No, we don't have the machines.
There ain't no bike there.
There's nothing glamorous here. But if you're a guy that wants to lift heavy things, you want to do cool things, you want to lift heavy things, that's what we do.
Yeah, and if you want to get introduced into grip, Travis has a whole bunch of grip stuff here.
Yeah, if you're into the grip world, if that's why you're following this, is to listen to Colton talk about squeezing stuff.
I'm good at that.
We do have some toys.
Yes.
We have some toys.
Yep. So thank you, sir. I do appreciate you.
Yeah, buddy.
And
let's do it again, huh?
Yeah, have yourself a good evening.
Cheers, bud. There you go.